All right, everyone, welcome to episode 9 of the No Limits podcast. It's been 7 months since the last episode. And the reason is because whenever I do an episode, I really want an episode to be worth the wait. And this is one of these episodes. I'm joined by James Hachem and Manny from Alya Skin. These boys are absolutely incredible. If you're an entrepreneur thinking about e-commerce, thinking about growing, a multi-million-dollar business, they've done all of this, and I'm going to pick their brains. And they're my friends, so they're going to give me a little bit more than what they'd give anyone else. Is that right?
Maybe just for you.
Maybe just for me. All right, done. So, look, you've got podcasts already out there. And you've got a ton of interviews where you guys talk about your story. We've got around an hour to tape this, so I don't really want to focus the entire thing on the story because people can already find that. I want to dive deep into talking about building an e-commerce brand, what the secrets are, the PR, because you guys have done that in an amazing way, and handling such big scale and growth as well. So I want to jump into that. But in 5 minutes, just quickly, if you guys can, tell me the story of Alya Skin, just for some background, and then we'll go from there.
Yep. So firstly, thanks for having us both.
Anytime, right?
Thanks for having us both. Appreciate it. Manny and I went to school together. We grew up together. We both finished school, and we'd always wanted to go into business with each other. And then, a time came maybe 2 years after we both graduated, and we thought, what can we do, like what's missing in the market right now, and what can we launch on Instagram and on Facebook, where there was a gap in the market. And we thought initially clay masks would have been a great idea. Mm-hmm. And, we sat down and we thought, what kind of spin can we put on it to make it our own, to make it different, have a point of difference to everyone else's on the market. So we launched Alya Skin in January 2018. Now we've got four SKUs. Hopefully launching 2 more SKUs before the end of the year. And yeah, it's been a great journey.
Manny?
Yeah, just adding on to that. I was actually just reminiscing on everything as you were saying. I remember when we
just kicking in.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we started maybe almost 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. And it was the best decision we've ever made going to business together, really, because we were best mates and we're like yin and yang. We work perfectly together.
Yeah.
But we focused heavily on building the brand. And that's been a main reason why we've done so well in terms of scaling, because we've got such loyal customers. And I think when you start an e-commerce business, you've got product and you've got brand. And, you need to have a good product and a good brand to succeed and to have any sort of longevity in your business. And that's what we've been able to do. Like, even from our customer care, from developing products, like, we've only got 4 products, but it's because we take our time before we launch everything, because we don't want to put something out into the market that people aren't going to really want and love. So whatever we launch, we're 100% certain it's going to sell well and people are going to love it.
Awesome, man.
So it's been a journey.
So right now as well, thanks for sharing that. If you guys can, just with the microphone, get a bit closer. With everything going on right now, I think I want to touch on that first, on operating an e-commerce brand throughout this insanity of what's going on in the world with coronavirus. And I know you guys don't just have customers here, you guys are worldwide. And so, what's happening around the world is affecting yours, it is affecting other businesses. What's it actually been like? Has it been better because now more people are shopping online? How have you had to adjust? What was the conversations like? What did you do to essentially adapt to what's going on?
I think that when we launched this business, we wanted to launch a business that had a must-have product, not a want product. And I think that's really worked in our favor, because during this pandemic, a lot of people are obviously staying home and in lockdown in 3 and 4 months. So April was our best month, and that was because the way we market our product, it's a must-have product. You need to look after your skin, and most of our customers use the opportunity of staying home to take care of their skin. We obviously have got a 4-step process where we sell a bundle, and with the mask, moisturizer, cleanser, and exfoliator, it really gives you a whole package of looking after your skin. So, we're very fortunate enough. We thank God every day that we were a business that was able to thrive through this. When you talk about distribution and wholesale, we're fortunate enough as well that, we're in 2,000 stores, but 1,500 of those stores are actually in Australia. And we weren't as affected because Priceline, pharmacies, and and a lot of other pharmacies we're in were able to stay open. Whereas if you look at the other side of the world, such as the UK, a lot of products in pharmacies such as Boots and Superdrug, which we're not in yet, they were actually black taping products that were non-essential. So you were only able to purchase products that were essential products in those pharmacies. So I'm sure a lot of brands were affected by that, but we're just fortunate enough that we were just on the good end of that.
I think also it's a testament to your brand and product. I think this time has filtered out the strong businesses from the not so strong. I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean the businesses that built up foundations to be able to cope through periods like this. And because our products generally do work, and we've got loyal customers, I think that's also why we didn't experience as much of a dip. But adding on to what James was saying, there is definitely going to be a consumer shift in people now buying online as opposed to people buying in store, because you see it with Uber Eats even. A lot of people that don't even know how to use Uber Eats are now using Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Delivery services, just not even just product businesses, service businesses. So it's an exciting time for e-commerce, and any business that's not utilizing digital marketing at the moment will struggle, and the ones that do use digital marketing will surpass them, whether it be tradies, builders, skincare companies, you name it.
So has it made you guys become more aggressive, like with all the advertising that you do? Because I think the unique thing about Alya, which I've always found very interesting, is that or separated you from the typical e-commerce companies, the fact that you've got you're very strong in your presence in stores. Like you said, you're in over 2,000 stores, but also at the same time, you're so massive online. So huge online with your Facebook ads. There are a ton of ads. If I go on your website, I'm retargeted and I'll do it on purpose because we know how Facebook ads work. Where I'm looking, I'm like, okay, let me engage and see what goes on, and I'm being retargeted. So I know that you're really aggressive on that front. From a PR approach, you're super aggressive. So you're very aggressive online. Has since this has happened, have you guys started to move more towards that and like amplified it, or what has been like the strategy to?
Not really amplified. I think not really amplified it, but we've got more creative. I think it's allowed us to sort of ground ourselves and think about the types of content we can push out. And because we've got, we spend tens of thousands sometimes daily on ads, or most days, we're able to test a lot of different pieces of content, and that's probably why you're hit with so many different ads and videos and everything. But I think it's made us appreciate how hard we work to have that presence online, and I think it's a lesson for other people as well, that again, you need to be online if you want to do well, especially in this current time.
The pandemic made, I think, everyone, step back and look at what's going on, in their business from an outside point of view, because we were all just so relaxed for 1 month almost, staying at home, not being in the office every day. So you just had more time. We weren't on the go constantly with events or, whatever it may be. So we really had a chance to look back and look into our business and say, okay, what can we do better? We've now got time, a month or 2 months, to really focus on our weaknesses and improve our strengths. And that's what we really did. So, I think that's maybe why we came out, stronger than probably ever. And there's definitely some things where we looked at our business, we're like, wow, there's a lot of money to be made in this area, which we're not focusing on at all.
Point.
Yeah.
And now we're really starting to focus on that because we had that time out, we had that little break, like everyone did, really. Everyone was at home for a month. So now is when we're going to turn a little bit more aggressive, because we've been able to really, really benefit from the time that we had off. But I will say this, going back to your question before, you said what, was the pandemic, did it impact us? When we're talking sales, it was amazing. Yeah. And it was really good. And we're extremely lucky. But I think the one thing that most people underestimate when they're starting an e-commerce business is logistics is the biggest pain, the biggest headache. And that was the biggest impact for us during this, this time, coronavirus.
Yeah, actually, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
You got to ship these products out.
Exactly right.
And that's being affected.
Lead times, of 7 to 10 days now became 6 weeks for a customer. But there's nothing that you can do, as the brand owner. Like all you can do is constantly communicate with your customers, email them, message them, talk to them, just reassure them that, look, your product's coming.
Yeah.
We promise you it's coming.
Yeah.
But we don't know when, because it's not on us. Like the Ozpost, or whether it be UPS in America, there were times where it was taking 1 week just to have the product picked up from the warehouse.
Wow.
And you try and communicate it on your website. We've now got a COVID-19 update on our website.
Yep.
And I think that's the most important thing, is communicating to your customers and reassuring them. Because let's be honest, if you're from Peru, for instance, or somewhere in, wherever it may be, you've never heard of Alya Skin. So when you come on our Instagram page and you fall in love with it and then you purchase, but you haven't received the tracking code for a week, well, you start to think, is this a scam?
Yeah.
Like that's some people say, is this a scam? But you've got to have the staff, the manpower, to constantly reassure customers, look, it's coming. So I think if you ask what was our biggest impact, that would have been
logistics.
It was a nightmare during this time.
And hats off to James, because and the logistics team at Alya Skin, like James was working till 1 o'clock every morning, just to make sure that everybody knew what they had to do, and dealing with. Because we're in our head office is in Australia, when we're dealing with UK, they wake up when we're going to bed. So you've got to stay awake till 2 a.m. to deal with these people. And same as Canada and the US. So, it's all well and good to do more sales during COVID, but you need to be able to keep up with what's actually happening,
for sure.
and make sure that you don't piss people off, because you can't just take everybody's money and not give them back a good service, customer service.
We spoke to a few e-commerce owners that said, look, we're cutting our spend because customers are waiting too long, and something that we have to think about as well. And then we thought, how are we going to get around this? And then we somehow move some stock to a different 3PL company overseas. So then Americans were receiving products from America, Canadians were receiving products from America, rather than shipping everything from here.
I think we were very lucky though in that we didn't run out of stock really at all. Or maybe a couple of days, but nothing major. Like at the start, me and James were like, shit, are we going to run out of stock? Are our manufacturers going to close down? Touch wood, and thank you, God, that didn't happen.
You know what I think is cool? I think it's cool for anyone who's listening that's also a business owner, myself included, listening to you guys talk about, I guess, the struggles you went through, and to know that even businesses that are as successful as yours is, suffered its own headaches. Like running a business isn't, hey, the articles that people put up, two best friends, running a $20 million business, like that's all fantastic, but it comes with a ridiculous amount of stress and a ridiculous amount of, being able to adapt, being quick on your feet. We had to make massive adjustments within our organization as well. And as a result of that, we're reaping the benefits from what we did. And you guys are too. And like you said, it's going to make you stronger. I'm sure moving forward, you would be bulletproof ready for any further developments in the pandemic.
But let's be honest, how could you prepare yourself for something that just happened?
That's right.
But the answer is you need to be fluid in your approach to life and business, and you hit the nail on the head. Because me and James are fluid, even our staff, they all double in different areas of the business. We're able to work as a team and overcome it. But it's definitely made us stronger. But James is right.
I think for you guys, you couldn't really have anticipated because you've already established yourself online. But when you talk about the majority of business owners that don't have an online product, that haven't included an online solution, who haven't thought about what happens if my thing closes down, how can I continue to make money? I think for them that this period will give them an opportunity to go and develop online products. Like I know personally someone who used to do personal training, was just making all their money from personal training. Then gyms closed down. She straight away moved online, and she was able to triple her business and create an online solution, because what people continue to want to look after their health. This is what I mean.
Exactly. It's about being reactive.
You've got to be reactive. You've got to adapt.
But think about this, Leo. If you guys who is watching now, check the time that you spent on your phone today already, and it's only 12:30, 1 o'clock for us now. All your time is spent on your phone these days, and businesses need to market online. That's where your attention is. There's no such thing as TV ads anymore. Everyone's on Netflix. No such thing as radio. People are on Spotify. You know, so you just have to adjust with what's happening. And that goes
for all businesses. Business owners will get it twisted and think that's just for e-commerce companies. No.
That goes this is for
service,
businesses. Everything.
Services, lead generation. You've got to have some sort of presence.
It's just important to have different sales channels. We've got distribution, wholesale. We've got online. If something happens to one or the other, at least we've got the other.
But our marketing supports both those channels.
Exactly.
So like James is right, we've got distribution, but we use online marketing to push distribution.
Yeah.
For example, what we do with influencers, how we send out and get them to post available in Priceline.
I definitely want to talk to you guys about the whole influencer strategy. But one thing I really wanted to talk about is more, because I know, Manny, the good thing about it is, if I had a digital marketing person who owns a massive digital marketing agency willing to offer advice, I would pay them almost whatever they wanted, especially if they're running a 10, 20, $30 million digital marketing agency. Because if I can spend some time with them one-on-one, learn the secrets, I know how valuable that is. And you actually do that for people interested in starting e-commerce brands. You've met with a lot of e-commerce startups, people who've got money behind them, people who are trying to get money behind them, all kinds. What do you think, and this goes for both of you, biggest mistake people make when they are launching in the e-commerce space? Because everyone wants to do it too. So what do you think the biggest mistake people make is?
I think the biggest mistake that people make that I meet up with is, number one, they don't know what their numbers are, and they don't really think, okay, if the product's worth $20, how am I actually going to make money online selling it at a $20 price point when shipping alone costs me $10 to the customer? That's the first thing, is know your numbers back to front, because it's not as easy as you set up a website and money just rolls through. Like, that $20 isn't profit, it's revenue. The second thing is coming up with a strategy and knowing how to target your actual target audience. Like, who is your avatar of a customer? You know, like, our clay mask isn't suitable for everyone. We know who our target customer is, and that's how we can target our marketing so specifically to that audience, which has allowed us to scale. But, you know, I've met up with a lot of people, and I love helping others, you know, same as James. And I think that people just rush it. That's what I'm going to say. You just need to sort of take a step back and don't let overexcitement get to you.
And everyone just forgets about acquisition cost. Like, everyone.
Yeah, exactly
everyone.
right.
Like,
that's
everyone
the biggest
forgets. Like, it's the two
thing.
most
acquisition
important.
cost is, explain, because a lot of people, so like,
Yeah. So how much it's really going to cost you to acquire the customer, to get the customer to purchase your product. And it's, you know, for us, when we started, we launched, I remember one of Manny's friends who looked at our numbers after 3 months and said, if I was you, I would have given up by now, because we were spending so much money to acquire the customer.
Yeah.
But we knew
I
that.
remember that.
And the biggest thing is that once you can build a good amount of customer base, and if you really believe in your product, you believe in your brand, then they're going to come back. But at the start, it's going to cost you a lot to acquire the customer, because they're buying into a brand that they've never heard of. And they're buying into a brand that, you know, hasn't been around for very long. And especially with our product, you know, it's a consumer-based product. So people are putting it on their skin. So it's, you know, it's really like, you know, kind of food as well. You know, anything that you put in your mouth, anything that you put on your body, it's very hard to convince someone to purchase your product. So I think a lot of people that, you know, came to us as well and still come to us really asking for advice, they just forget. They just say, oh, it's, you know, it's going to sell for $20. We're making it for $4. We've got a $16 margin. I go, customer acquisition, that could be $20 on its own. You've got shipping. You've got fees. You've got influencers, marketing that you want to spend on. So I think that, like, going back to what Manny was saying, you know, you need to know your numbers.
Know your numbers. And there was this reminds me of a story. We took on an e-commerce company. He came to me and he said, "Look, I'm going to leave these guys. I've been following you. I want to give you my budget." And he gave us a budget of 10 grand to work with. And he said, "Oh, I'm turning over this much a month." And then when we analyzed, literally just took a look at his ads, took a look at what his revenue was, and then I asked him what his profit margin per product was, and I calculated his shipping costs and all the rest of it. He was actually losing thousands of dollars a month, and he thought he was killing it. Like, he was ready to up his budget and take it to the next level. And that is just a testament to show that most e-commerce people who want to get into e-commerce, or even in business in general, need to really understand about understanding numbers. So what do you think people need to consider? You've got your product costs, okay? You've got shipping. You've got what?
So it's actually quite interesting. I had a meeting with our CFO yesterday about this. And there's a rule of thumb. Anything under 50% as a gross profit margin isn't great. You know, it's not great for you, but anything above 70% as a gross profit margin is really good. Now, what I mean by that, they calculate gross profit margin as your cost of goods and your direct acquisition cost, which really is Facebook, Google, Snapchat. They're not counting influencers, because influencers isn't a direct it's not really a direct acquisition cost.
More
because,
of a brand awareness.
Yeah, it's more of you're more using that as brand awareness. Yeah, they don't convert anywhere as to how they. If you don't spend money on influencers, you can still make money. But if you don't spend money on Facebook, Instagram, and Google, and you're an e-commerce brand, well, sales aren't coming through.
Yeah.
So if your cost of goods are 10% of your retail price, for instance, if you're selling something for $10 and you're making it for $1, that's 10%. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, if your acquisition cost of Facebook, Google, Instagram is, let's say, 33%, which means for every dollar you spend, you're making $3.
Yeah.
So you're at 33% plus 10%. So which means you've got 57% gross profit margins. That is good. Anything below that, you're not really going to get anywhere.
Yep.
And once you grow to a business of 3 years or 5 years, build revenue, these companies that are going to acquire you, they're not going to be extremely interested, because they want to know that they can make money just from the cost of goods and the acquisition cost, and then everything else they will be able to sort out.
Yep.
Everything else is a variable, whether it be wages, whether it be influencers, whether it be rent, whether it be shipping. They're different rates. Everyone's got different rates. Everyone runs their business differently. But those things are very similar.
Adding on to that, I just wanted to touch on that you should try and increase your average order value. So every time someone comes onto the site, what is the average amount that they're spending per visit? So the higher that is, obviously, the more profitable you're going to be, because it may be the same acquisition cost to get that person to buy one product if there's only one product available versus 5 products.
Yep.
So if you bundle products together and then you sell it for like 20% discount, the acquisition cost may go from $30 to $32 because they're spending a bit more money on the bundle, but they're spending $50 with one product as opposed to $120 for 5 products.
Yeah.
And your cost of goods will go up marginally compared to your revenue increase, which is way more drastic, you can say. So there goes your profit margin will be much higher.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's super valuable. So anyone who's watching this, please, if you're thinking about doing e-commerce, you're thinking about doing any form of services, even with us, when we're building a website for a client or doing digital marketing, I'll know my numbers to the nearest hour, like how much it's taking someone to develop a website, what's paid in wages for that particular amount of time, how much of rent did I pay, what is the GST cost, the tax cost. Like, the better you know your numbers, the more of an accurate view of your business you've actually got, and also puts you in a good position to scale, because once you know your numbers, you can actually know, wow, I can actually spend money. I can spend this much to actually acquire a customer. If you're thinking, oh, $20 was too much, and then you do your numbers, you realize, wow, $20, I've got a 60% gross profit margin or 70%. You actually realize you're all sweet. You can start to scale your business, and I think that's how you guys have managed to do it. Really.
Also, like another thing that we haven't spoken about is repeat customers. So that's customer acquisition. Cost comes into play the first time they come to the store. However, you guys need to understand also that every time you click on someone's ad, that's costing them money. So if they buy the first time and they're a repeat customer, then they come back to your site a month later and they still click through an ad, that's still costing money. So you want them to really come through as an organic way.
Man,
so
that's a great point. What
I'm getting at is this is where email marketing comes into play.
That's such a great point. Wow.
You've got you got your cost per click and your customer acquisition when they click through an ad. So let's say it's $30 the first time. If they come through to your site a second time to reiterate and they click on an ad, that's another $30. But if you've got a really good email funnel, which is a direct communication to customers that we're focusing heavily on now, and that's something we discovered during COVID that we needed to work on a bit, that's not costing you $30. That's a direct email, bang, straight in. And that's where you can lock them into a subscription. You can upsell products, and that's really should account for like
it's free advertising essentially.
20% or 10% of your revenue, really, because it's direct to your customer.
And then if you do that effectively, you can start to actually spend more to
on
acquire
ads.
the customer.
Exactly.
Because you know that
You've
you're
got
going to
organic sales coming through.
for
and
free.
your ROI will be higher.
And that's how you kill everyone in the market, because you can actually spend more.
Correct. So you can push harder. Like if your ROI on Facebook is 2x, but you've got $100,000 worth of recurring revenue coming in, you can use the profit from that to put into ads. It'll counteract what you're spending.
And just continue to acquire customers. And then, if you've got a good product and you have a good brand, there's no reason why they won't continue to buy.
Yeah.
Wow. I think if I ever decide to go through the e-commerce thing, the first thing I'm going to do is sign up to your to the mentorship thing.
Well, these are just things we've learned together, our whole journey. Like,
Yeah.
we honestly didn't even think of that. Even I just kind of thought
Because
myself
honestly,
of it.
because it's true. Like you don't think of these things. Like
Yeah.
even with the knowledge of running Facebook ads, you still think, oh, that's right. If you hit them again, they're going to have to click. It's going to cost you money to acquire a repeat customer. But if you had just got them in their emails, that's free money right
And that's
there.
something, honestly, we figured out during COVID.
Yeah.
Because this is what James was saying. You've got time to just breathe, ground yourself, and look at every aspect in depth. And that's why now, like, you know, for people that love Alya Skin, we're working on subscription now where we're going to have our own sort of portal for subscription. But we literally thought, shit, every time someone clicks, it's costing us more money. So even with retargeting, it's the same thing, even though the cost might be cheaper. But yeah, definitely work on your emails.
This here is more of a personal question for me. I've just been really, really curious about it. So when anyone sees any articles of you guys pumping out, if you write either your name or Manny's name, you write Alya Skin, you go to the news section, articles. It's like on a constant basis. It's like different headlines, different articles. And people will see that very often now. But I remember when you guys first hit the scene and I hadn't been introduced to you at this point, I noticed that you were taking a very aggressive approach PR-wise. Okay?
Yeah.
And now I would say maybe a year and a half later, you're both, you know, your PR has exploded, your business has grown massively, and you're both verified on Instagram as well. And that's to say that you're two entrepreneurs verified on Instagram. It's a whole nother ball game trying to be verified as an entrepreneur. You go on Big Brother, you go on Geordie Shore, whatever. It's easy. You're getting your verification sticker, but for you guys, it takes a lot of hard work and effort for any entrepreneur to get to the recognition to the point where, you know, you're verified on Instagram or you're getting this much PR written about you. So tell me, what was the mindset from the beginning though, when you first started your business? This is like 4 months into you launching, you guys going, you know what? We need to actually push an aggressive PR approach because PR is not an easy thing to do. It's not cheap and it's not easy. What was the thought process?
You know, going back to people starting e-commerce brands and launching their brands and trying to get their product out there, what we've both learned is the story is extremely important. And we thought we had a good story.
Yeah.
We thought that we were two 21-year-olds who were starting a female skincare brand with, you know, Australian ingredients, and we had a goal to literally just try and take over the industry. Like we were, that's just how we thought.
A female-dominated industry.
Yeah,
as well.
and I'll be completely honest. Like we were a bit cocky in the way that we were thinking. You know, someone I remember asked us, our Facebook. It's pretty funny. Our Facebook buyer asked us. He said, asked us when we were about to launch.
On the beach, I remember
and he messaged us. It's a friend of ours called Nick Shackelford. He's one of the best, you know, Facebook buyers in the world. And we were fortunate enough that Manny had an e-commerce business before and he'd been able to scale his ads. So Nick thought, you know what, you guys have got experience. I'll take you as a client. And he sent us a message on Facebook and he goes, what are you expecting to do in your first month? What would you be happy with? And Manny and I were in the gym and we looked at each other and we said, $1 million, yeah? And we replied saying, we want to do $1 million in our first month. And he just started laughing. He just
because of previous businesses that we'd had e-commerce. The thing is, if you get a hype product or a good product, you can scale. Like even with the charcoal teeth whitening stuff, like doing 600,000 in the second month was achievable back then. So me and James just were shooting for the stars.
Yeah, and that
but we went a bit too far.
That definitely didn't happen in our first month. You know, we sold out fortunately enough, but we didn't have much stock, so it wasn't a crazy amount of revenue, but.
So you thought you were going to do $1 million a month, and you didn't even have enough products to cover.
Exactly right. So we were just two 20.
Winging it.
We're winging it. We were just two 20-year-olds at the time who were, you know, just thought we could do this. So anyway, going back to your question, why did we focus on PR? PR gives you credibility, gives your brand credibility. And we thought, we've got a good story. We're two males. Let's push that, see where it goes. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter how much you market the product, doesn't matter how good your story is. If your product doesn't back up everything you're saying, then it's irrelevant. It's not going to work. Of course, no editor is going to post about you or write about you without sending them product and them trying it. So they tried our product, they loved it, and then they thought, okay, they've got an amazing product. The branding looks good. The branding is consistent the whole way through, and they've got a great story.
Yeah.
And we just thought, you know what? Let's just continue to push. We did it ourselves.
But we didn't even lead with. So when we reach out to editors, we don't say post an article. We say we just want to send you product. So first of all, get your foot in the door with them, become friends with them. You know, it's all about relationships in business. So that was the approach. Me and James would say, we want to just send you product. Can you tell us what you think? And then we'd literally get on the phone with them and talk to them about it. And they'd be like, how did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then from there, it's so much easier to get them to write about you compared to how many emails would they get a day saying, can you just post about my product? Can you do this? I want to make sales off your articles. But that wasn't our approach. Our approach was build relationships. And now that we've done that, we can still utilize those editorial relationships with all the new products coming.
And now we've just signed with, PR companies in the UK, in Canada, in New Zealand as well, to really help grow our brand internationally and take it to the next level. Because like I said, it gives you that credibility. Once you're featured in all these articles, people start to notice and notice and notice.
And good for SEO as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Because obviously,
all the traffic,
and
then when your brand is more well known.
Our biggest thing probably to date was the Channel 9 News thing. I think we went on to Daily Mail, and this was when we just started out really, and we had Channel 9 contact us literally, and we were aired on at 6 p.m. on a Sunday night, and me and James were kind of looked at each other like, holy shit, did they just email us instantly as soon as that article got posted? Wow. So that was with Joe Hall, and that was good fun. But just looking back on all these memories, it's been a journey. But I think the key thing to take away from the PR is develop relationships with the people, the editors, develop
and then have a story as well,
and back your product and have a story.
Every business needs a story, I think, in my opinion.
Definitely.
One thing I wanted to dive into is the whole influencer approach that you guys took, because I know you took a bit of a unique approach where every person who starts a company is like, I'm going to try and get Kylie Jenner or these massive stars. You went, no, let's actually go micro. Let's go to the smaller influencers, and you were able to hit them at a larger volume, and that was in what actually helped build your brand in a massive way. But I'm not going to talk about it. I'd love for you guys to actually tell me what the thought process was. What made your mind actually think in that way? And then how did it end up working out for you?
So when we launched, we thought, let's send 2,000 to 2,000 influencers roughly.
Why?
So
where was the thought?
Before we even launched the business, Manny and I went to the office. I think his house in his garage firstly, and then in Hampton, just a little room with no windows, literally small, like maybe the size of from there to here.
Yeah.
And we went on Instagram and we just thought, how are we going to blow this brand up without spending $500,000 on launch? What's the most cost-effective way to get the product into people's hand without paying every influencer? So we thought micro influencers with, girls with followers anywhere between 800 to 10,000, and anyone who would agree to pay for post for free, we would just send them a product, and hope that they would post. And then the way we actually database it was ourselves. We'd literally go into this office from 9 till 5, sometimes earlier, and sometimes staying back later, and just going on their suggested friends and just databasing their Instagram name and their email. And if they didn't have an email, then we would just DM them. And we had a template. We had a template written. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare,
but you've got to do it.
Yeah,
so we'd get the big list of people, but me and James have this mentality where we look at people, and we don't use the term influencer. We use the term customer. So we think, who can we send to that's a customer?
That's a good point.
So it's going back to my avatar, creating an avatar of the person. So all these people we were sending to fit our customer profile. So they're not actually influencers. A lot of them don't even have emails.
Exactly.
And that means that they haven't posted for people before. It's like, for example, a friend of mine who has 2,000 followers. If he posts a photo of the mask, in our WhatsApp group with all our mates, I reckon 10 people are going to say, oh, does that work? Does that work? What's the product? So it's a much more genuine approach to your marketing. And even when James said, we hope that they posted, me and James said, even if they don't post, we don't care, because they're going to try the product and they're going to tell people about it because it works. So we had full faith in that. So we literally just sent out around 2,000, like James said, at the start, and we had everyone post at once, which created a shockwave. So we went like Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast.
Yeah, we just went city by
Brisbane,
city.
City by city.
And a lot of the time, we built a good relationship with them, with the girls, and
Facebook
they would eventually start posting, for free. Like they would just say, oh, well, they would put a story up and tag us,
posts,
and we were confused, but they just genuinely love the product,
Yeah.
and they want to tell their followers
I've got
about
them.
it, just
Yeah.
because like I want to be able to share my product, like
It's
the product
too
that I've
close to
got.
home. Yeah, when I went to your office and you gave me a few products, I brought them home and I had them on the counter. I'm not even kidding. My sister walks in and goes, oh, "Who bought these? Like, who got these?" And then my mum was like, "Oh, Leo got them." She's like, "Why would Leo get Alya Skin like products? What the hell?" And then I'm like, "Oh no, actually, like I know the boys. They gave me a few products to give to you." And then she's like, "Oh my god!" The first thing she did, puts the
Instagram.
products up, takes a photo and tags Alya Skin. It's like there's this. It's like, I don't know, it's like buying Louis Vuitton or something. You just want to post, and people don't really tag, but it's like a celebration. I've got these products and they're so nice, and they look beautiful, and they worked really well as well. So
yeah, do you know why, Larry? Because we put so much time into our branding, so the packaging looks cute, but when you send it out to 2,000 people and everybody's using it and you create a hype, people want to be part of that hype. And I think that it's, people want to support the brand, and, if we didn't get a reaction like that, I'd be worried because of how much effort we put into the actual brand. And I remember, this is something that Sean from Bondi Sound said to us. He said, your brand is like your house. You just want to keep renovating it, make it better, and build it. And that's all we try and think
resonated
about.
with us for sure.
It's resonated, yeah.
wow. So moving forward, right? What do you think? Where do you think the space of e-commerce is going? Like, have you guys we've talked about where you've come from. We've talked about the little, pick your mind a little bit about how you guys got to where you're going, where you are now. Where are we moving towards?
I think it's only going to get stronger, especially with what just happened, with coronavirus and the pandemic, and so many people that I just never used to buy online had no choice.
Yeah.
They absolutely had no choice. And, especially the elderly, like on their phones, my aunties and my grandma who doesn't even use her phone is now looking at, purchasing online, and it's easier. It's easier. With a product like ours, I still think that there will always be a space for retail because people want to smell and touch the product sometimes, and there are sometimes testers in Priceline and pharmacies. So I don't think that we'll ever lose that, especially the cosmetics part of it. But I definitely do think with fashion and some other, e-commerce industries, I think, they're just going to boom. And retail, as we can see, retail's already dying for a lot of the industries, so I think it's going to get stronger. And I think that there are so many entrepreneurs and business owners out there that are just excited to learn. And, there's so many courses out there. Manny's doing his consulting, and he's extremely good at it. And there's so many other ways as well that you can learn, whether it be online courses, seminars, webinars now. I'm getting emails for Zoom, Zoom calls, Zoom chats, all the time now. And I think it's amazing. It's like all these 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, young 20s, they just it's giving them an opportunity to be able to work for themselves and do something on their own. And, whether they fail the first time they try or the second time they try, it's irrelevant. Like, I've had that many people ask me, do you think my idea is a good idea?
Yeah.
And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, there's been a lot of ideas where I think no in my head, but I don't tell them because I know that they're going to learn so much more
Just going through
from spending $5,000 to $20,000 on, launching the company, rather than going and spending, $20,000 or $30,000 doing a course. So, that's just my opinion. I think we're going to definitely continue to get stronger.
I agree with James. We both didn't have any help in terms of learning e-commerce. I was doing e-commerce before Alya, and James had his own other businesses as well, which he learned heaps. But you learn through making mistakes and getting back up on your feet. As cliche as it sounds, it's the truth. So I'm the same as when I hear people say to me, is this a good idea? If I'm consulting them, I'll teach them about why I don't think it's a good idea. But when they make mistakes, I make sure that they are moving forward, not moving backwards. And, me and James are very level-headed, especially when you're running a business that's doing big revenue, spending big money on ads, managing staff. You have to be level-headed and you just have to love making mistakes.
Yeah.
You know.
So when you're consulting and you're speaking with people approach you and then they join like your consulting program, what when you look at someone, what do you think separates someone where you're like, this guy or this girl really is special to doesn't have the right idea about, doesn't have the right intentions when it comes to e-com?
The first thing is that you need to be able to invest in yourself before just coming into the office and saying, I want to make $1 million a year through e-commerce. So these people want to spend money on whether it be consulting
Like
through
what
me.
we did.
Yeah, whether it be consulting or through a course or whatever it may be. But first thing is you need to put money into yourself, so you actually learn what do you want to achieve and the skills. The second thing is I get some people that all they're focused about is how do I make money.
Too many people project. They like make crazy
because
projections
they're
like we
fixated.
did. Yeah, like seriously, exactly the same.
But we don't care about just the money side. It's about growing your brand for us. So these people are fixated on being rich and having money and cars and watches and all this type of stuff. But you know, it's a journey. You can't think like that at the start. And the people that I know are going to do well are the ones that just listen. They listen to everything and they absorb everything. So whether they come to me and they say, I want to do this product, and I shut it down, I say, no, we're doing something different. They listen and they just absorb. And they're the ones that are going to do well. Building
a brand is definitely the most important thing. Definitely.
I like that. I like what you're saying, because really before you start working, I used to, when I first started my business, before I started, I said, if one day I want to make $1 million, I have to make myself worth $1 million.
Yeah.
So in the way I think
I
like a millionaire, I've got to talk like a millionaire. So I'd work on my mindset. I'd study Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn. I'd invest into mentorship, whatever I could. It's focus on yourself. It's the person that makes really the business successful. Yeah. There's this idea that it's like right place, right time, or he just had a good idea. The boys from Alya Skin just had a good idea to do space. Everyone was thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
Why is it that you made it successful? It's because you two, in the way that you think and the way you approach business, you're very brand oriented, and you actually focused on having a good product and developing good relationships. These are all ingredients that are going to make someone successful, and that's, I guess, what you're identifying whenever you're speaking to someone.
Definitely.
So if I was to move towards something which I think, for me, because I know you boys, it's not the first question that comes to my mind, but I know, looking from the outside in, say a year and a half ago, I might have this question. I'm picturing someone young is looking at you two. It's like, man, these guys are superstars. I want to be like them. What's life like being Manny and James, really? Like, what is life like being young, behind such a successful e-commerce brand, being featured in articles, having the presence that you do online, making the money that you do? What's life like, and what's it different to what it was before you began?
I think, I don't know, I don't see it like that. It's funny that you say it like that, but I've never thought of it like that. And I don't think Manny has either. I think the number one reason why you start a business is to have flexibility. That's why
and freedom. Yeah.
That's it. Just flexibility and freedom. And that's really why we did it. You know, we'd both had e-commerce businesses, but even after that, I was in hospitality, owning restaurants with my family. So that I had a lot of flexibility there as well, and I just couldn't see myself doing a 9-to-5 job in an office. And I definitely know Manny's got Anthony's fans. He could definitely not do that as well.
No, not happening.
But when you talk about, what's life like, it's stressful. Like it is, really. It's
people think it's this glamorous, luxurious lifestyle. Of course we have fun and we have the freedom to do what we want, and occasionally you do, some fun things, whatever. But it's stressful. Like, we've got a lot on the line, and no one sees what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
No one sees the hours that we put in or the stress. Like I told you guys, James stays up till 2 a.m. working. People don't see that. They see some of the Instagram posts of us doing something cool, like us on a yacht.
They'll see the highlights.
They see the highlights. It's like a highlight reel, but you don't see all the stuff below the surface.
But someone once said to me, it's resonated with me for, I don't know, I think it was last year, and now I just laugh about it when I think about it. He said his business is extremely large, extremely, extremely large. And, I don't know what kind of numbers they do, but they do, they would be top 1% in Australia in terms of e-commerce. And he said to me, just get ready for it, because once you grow, you're going to experience growing pains. And every single day you wake up, there will be a new headache. And that's exactly true. Every single day we wake up, there's an email or a message or there's something that's gone wrong and you have to fix it. But the flip side of that is, like you said, get to live a very flexible life where we get to, do what we want, and owning a brand is a lot of fun. And we have a lot of fun with our employees. They love working with us.
Yeah.
We get to have PR events. We get to have launch parties. We get to travel. That's a big benefit. We've been able to travel to, a lot of countries because we're launching in those countries. So for sure, it's been an amazing journey. I think we're both very, very, blessed and fortunate. We thank God every day, and we just want it to keep going. We just want to keep working hard.
I think being in your position, it's what's happened is you've become used to this. It's almost become normal to you. But if you picture, if I picture 18-year-old Leo, who is, and the majority of people who are watching this and follow you guys are people who are inspired by you, right? I'm picturing, say, 18-year-old Leo, he's got no money, but he's interested in entrepreneurship. And then you say, hey, you're going to be able to travel the world for your skincare product. You're going to make this much money. You're going to be in news articles and PR. People are going to know who you are, and you're going to have the flexibility of time to work where you are when you want. That's the dream life, man. It's maybe becoming a bit normal to you guys because you are. It is when I ask you, what's life like? You're like, I don't know. My family still treats me the same. Yeah. My friends are still the same. Life's still the same. It's just more stressful. But from the outside looking in, people would love to be where you are, and then they're curious. So what is it really like? Yeah. And then what it really is like is stress and...
Yeah, of course.
Well, you create your own life. You create your own life at the end of the day. We've created this life, and that's why we're like, because we've created it from working hard, and that's why we're not really overwhelmed. We are a bit overwhelmed at times with work and stuff, but it's nothing special to us.
Nothing just comes easy. Nothing comes easy no matter what,
I think one thing I'd like to talk to you guys, and then I think this is where we'll wrap things up at, is more you personally as high performers. So no one starts a successful business by accident. It requires a lot of grit. You got to work really hard. You got to certain consistencies. You got to be smart about the way you work. You've got to be organized. You've got to have a statement or a why that you're chasing after, or the reason you do what you do. These are consistencies that make a high performer to be able to do what you guys do. So I'm curious to know, firstly, from a productivity point of view, what's your days like, and what do you use to help you have super productive days? I'm not imagining you come into your day and then is it just whatever gets thrown at you, or are you very peculiar about what you spend your time on, and what's your approach to having super?
Our roles are different, so
I think it's changed though, because at the start we kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
But as your business grows and becomes more stressful in the workload, you need to separate the roles. So when we did separate roles, James can speak about himself. For me, mine's marketing, liaising with the marketing team, getting the creative juices flowing, working with PR, and really teaching our staff how to do things the way that I do it, and just passing down knowledge and delegating now that we're at the stage where we're ready to do that. But one thing that really helps me is writing down what I need to do on a notebook. So I use my calendar on my phone, but writing down, and I literally tick off everything I need to do, just keeps me so much more structured, because I do have kind of ants in my pants. I'm very high paced the way I work. So doing that just grounds me and slows my mind down. So anyone that's like me, I would recommend that you try that.
Do you do that in the morning?
I do that in the morning, or I do it as the event comes, or whatever I need to do. So today, if I've got something tomorrow, I'll write it down. The list just builds as the days go.
Okay.
And I just cross everything off, and that in my mind just relaxes me and slows me down.
And what about work hours? Was it really intense at the beginning, and then you guys slowly started to have more structure, or was it just it's whatever necessary? It's
every hour. We don't really switch off, to be honest, when you have a business. There's no such thing as 9 till 5 with the business. If we come into the office at 11, we're not going to make ourselves stay till 8. But if you've got work, you just do it. Even on the weekends, we're on our emails, we're on our phones, Instagram. It doesn't really stop. The only time you switch off is when you're asleep.
Yeah.
Really. But we're lucky that, like Manny said from the start, we're yin and yang. He focuses on marketing, and he delegates, with the girls that work with us, and they kind of bring his ideas to life. Whereas I focus on the operational side of the business in terms of logistics, freight. I have to liaise with lawyers, accountants. I liaise with all distributors. I have to try and find. I deal with all wholesale, so I'm trying to bring, revenue, to the company through distribution wholesale, while Manny's focusing on online e-commerce and branding as well.
Yeah,
and bringing money through.
And we
online.
just take stress. We try to take as much stress off each other as we can. But at the moment, it's extremely busy. So really, he's flat out. I'm flat out. We definitely think differently. I'm a big stress head. I stress a lot. Sometimes I don't sleep. I'm overthinking constantly. Sometimes I dream about work. I wake up early, because I'm thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Whereas Manny's kind of taught himself to be more relaxed. And when I'm super stressed, I lean on him. And if he's super stressed, he leans on me. But the best thing that we ever did was, divide our roles. He's got his responsibilities. I've got my responsibilities. And if we need help, then we can cross over. But it's better to just, you focus on that. I trust you. I'll focus on this. And he trusts me. And then we work together, because at the end of the day, when you have a business partner, you should ultimately have the same goal. And we've only got one goal: to continue to grow our business until it's a global brand.
Yeah, that's
our only goal. We don't look at anything else other than, the motto that we live by with our company of launching affordable products at a high quality. Launching high quality products at an affordable price, and hopefully in 2-3 years we'll be in 5,000 to 10,000 stores, and have 10 or 15 SKUs, and we'll be renowned as an Australian skincare company that launched in 2018 and is now hopefully taking over the world. By that time.
Yeah. Why not be normal? Why not just live a normal life?
My dad always said to me, and he always says to us as well, Manny's like a son to my father. He always says, whatever we do, as long as we do it at its best, that's all that matters. It's cliche, but it's true. And we want to own a skincare company, but we want to have the best skincare company.
Yeah.
And I think that's what drives me.
Comes back to the brand. Like, we love owning a brand that people love. It's just a good feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would rather make less money. And so if you've got two companies, this company's making more money, but doesn't have a brand that people are proud of or we're proud of. I would rather work in this one that makes a bit less, that's helping people, and it's a strong brand that people around our age love. That to me fills it like my heart, and it makes me get up every morning and push on what we're doing. It's like when you launch a new product, I'm super excited to show all the customers. So with the money part aside, like the success more comes from the brand for me.
Exactly. And that's why we actually we get more satisfaction out of distribution and out of wholesale. Like, even though e-commerce, most people say, you're gonna make more revenue because you're selling at obviously the full retail price rather than selling to a retailer or to a wholesaler. But the satisfaction of seeing your brand in stores is amazing.
Every door we open, we're still fucking high five.
And going back to what Manny says, being able to see the before and afters on a daily basis, daily basis of, customers sending in their progress of, when they started using the mask till now, that is amazing. Like, we didn't think that was going to happen. We really didn't. We didn't think that our product was going to be, we knew we had a great product, but we didn't think that we're going to get emails from people saying, you've changed my life. I'm so confident now because of your product. Yeah. That in itself is, what makes you want to push. What makes you want to continue to push.
Manny, you were saying, oh, I want to have a brand. I want to like grow a company, but there's something deeper there. And I want to figure out what that is.
Look,
what is it that just gets you? Because you're literally just hungry, man. Like you're a go-getter. What is it? Like, what are you driven by? What keeps you going?
I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, well, let's figure it out, man. This is an intervention. Myself and James actually did this whole podcast just to figure it out.
I'm learning a lot about
now we finally got to it. What is it?
Like, I grew up obviously in a good school and everything. Like, my parents didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come from money. And then, I saw my parents not being as good of a financial position as a lot of people I was surrounded with. And, I used to work at a fish and chip shop every night for 6 nights a week, busting my ass for $15 an hour. So my why as well is creating a future for my family that I didn't really like. not saying that we were poor, but not that I thought was normal at the time, going to a school like Xavier. Like, you're surrounded by a lot of families with big money. And, but, you know, honestly, my why is a mixture of that and also about building something that I'm proud of, but also about changing the future for my family, making sure that we never have to stress about money again.
I love that, man. I think we got somewhere there with that one.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Some things you've got coming up? I want everyone to go and follow these two amazing gentlemen over here, James and Manny, and keep tabs on their skincare brand and go and buy their products, check it out. And for any entrepreneurs that are just starting out or launch their e-commerce brand that is in a position where they just want to get to where their goal is as quick as possible, invest into yourself, go and see Manny and join into whatever it is that he is offering, because you're going to get the end advice. So if you spend an hour with us, where maybe he spoke for 20 minutes, imagine what you're going to get just with him one-on-one for.
And he's super good value. Like, yeah. I've had so many people that I've referred, to Manny, and they've all come back saying that, it's unbelievable knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
special, man. Well, how often are you going to find someone who's young, built a company this big, and is also willing to share their knowledge? People won't be like, nah, I'd rather just keep that to myself. So it's definitely special. But what else? Is there anything else that you guys wanted to do? This is going to go up. It's going to be up on the YouTube
just for everyone to get ready for us to change the game.
Yeah.
We've got two really cool products coming out in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
We've been working tirelessly on.
Yeah.
But we're there now. We're literally there. So by probably October?
Yeah, October and then one launching early next year.
And get ready for the launch party.
Yeah. So we'll be doing, I don't want to get everyone too excited, but we will be doing probably a very, very big giveaway. As you know, last time we gave away a car.
Yeah.
So I think the next giveaway will definitely top that.
Awesome.
By 5.
By
5 times.
5 times. All right. You're giving away in a C63 or something. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Like I said, don't forget to go and support the boys and follow them. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully, we're going to have some more episodes coming soon now that they've helped me get my momentum back. Love you all. See you in the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.